Hey everybody, it's the Modern Day Nana. I am outside and it's hotter than heck, but I want to work on this chair that we are going to cover in moss. Now, I've had a couple ideas in my head. I actually tore the chair apart. This is the seat. I've got it laid on its side. And I was thinking, okay, if I do live plants, which I was thinking of doing, then it's going to have all this foam and all this stuff torn off, the covering and everything, which I pretty much did to the bottom. And then I thought, wait a minute, why don't I just do fake? Well, not do live, okay? And let me show you my supplies. We have had this chair forever. My son got it secondhand years ago. It actually is very good bones. Look at the cool wood. You can see the wood legs on it down there. So what I'm thinking is we'll just cover it. He went out and got me a new stapler because it was a long story. Anyway. So, we have a stapler, we have glue gun, some old scissors. This is what I've talked about multiple times. This is that sheet moss that you get from Walmart. And you can get variations other places. Not all Walmarts have it. I've only found one in my area that does. But I think this will work perfectly for what we need. It's just like a long table runner, but I think that will just staple. You'll just pull this paper off. We've done it in other things. It will take a couple easily. The nice thing about this is you can piece it together, and you don't really see the seams. It'll take a couple, and the stuff is like, this sheet it's double that. It's 15. So, I don't know if you could go a more reasonable, financially reasonable option. I just have collected bits and pieces. Here's I'm not even sure where I got these. One of the craft stores or Walmart. Just moss. This is a clumpier moss. This is reindeer moss. So it's kind of got a lighter, airier feel. And then when Joann's was going out of business, I went over, and this is also reindeer moss, but it's like a purple, which of course they've dyed. But our accent color, we're doing sunflowers with some accents of purple, and then just wildflowers. So I thought, I picked that up. It was on clearance. Yeah, just, really moss of whatever. And then I have these blocks of moss that I got on Amazon. They came in a block and you rehydrated them. And this smells good. It smells like dirt, basically. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of take a starting point and just kind of cut and fit and work on this. I'm going to cover the front and the back of basically the top. I don't think I'll have to do the bottom. This chair's been sitting in the garage, so it's kind of rough looking. Technically, I'm not even going to worry about peeling this paper off because we don't need to. So I think, let's see, where are the seams at? There's a seam up here at the top that would be a good place to kind of start, I feel like. So let me turn it on its feet. And I just laid this foam back on here. I'm outside. Potentially supposed to get rain, so and we'll see how the staples look. And we can always, put a bit of moss on those, excuse me, to, do I want to go lengthwise or do I want to go, yeah, I think I'm just going to staple it on here lengthwise. See how we do. And then, it's a new stapler. I might have to get the hang of it. And it's nice because it's got a base to work with. Might have to get a little better handle on it than that. And we can do some glue too if we feel like, oh, these staples are going to show, which looks like they are. That one came undone. But it'll give us a good start, and we can definitely staple to the wood. I want to just go ahead and put some good old hot glue. I'm just going to put it down right below that seam. Now I've got the hot glue gun out, so be careful. I had gloves on, but my hands were so darn sweaty. So we'll see how many of these we end up needing, how many of these. But like I said, it's nice because my glue gun only stretches so far, so that's why I'm kind of dancing around with this. Chair a little bit. We get a good layer stuck down, and then we can go from there. Anyway, so yeah, I think initially we were thinking, and we can certainly do this, the venue that we're having it at has like a section where they always put the remembrance photos. We don't have to use that area, but it's nice. It's on an old piano. I think the bride kind of wanted this chair outside where she's having the ceremony. So, but initially she was thinking chair outside where the ceremony is going to be under the pergola and photos on it. But you know how when you're doing something like this, pardon me if I get my back in your view here, I'm a hot mess. Just which I usually am. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I am going to be transparent. Which, if you've seen me, you know. I try to keep myself out of the videos, and that is the only reason, guys. I mean, oh my goodness. What a mess. I guess I was trying to make this even up here, and really I just need to go with the flow of the piece of moss here, and then just kind of work around it. Anyway, so you know how when you have an original thought about something, it changes over time. If you spend any time, well, sorry, I got moss in my mouth. Might have to lay this down. I don't know why it's giving me such problems. So let's just glue her down. I think that's probably be our best option. We might have to wait till our glue gun heats up a little bit more. We'll just kind of lay it down. I'll just kind of put some glue and then kind of give it a little pat down and go from there. Okay, now we've come to the bottom where the cushions meet, where the back meets the bottom cushion, and since I kind of was wonky with this, maybe I can pull this out. Let me see. Yeah. See, I just cut this material, but I left it on here. Let me stick this back under here if I can. Now we can just fold this up here on top. Fold it over nice with a little bit of glue. And like I said, I've worked with it. We've covered books. I think I showed you those. It's been a while ago that we did that. But it's very forgiving. Okay, so looks like we're definitely going to need 2 and maybe a little more. Maybe not. Maybe just 2. Maybe just 2 of these. But this is going to make a really nice statement. Maybe I'll just, yeah, it should be all right. I'm just trying to get this down to where I know it's going to cover. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to cover this in glue. Do a little overlap if I can get my glue to work. Come on. Come on, old girl, don't fail me now. Put this basket under here so you can see it. Let's just get this glued down good, this top, because you know it's going to pull from the top, right? And then maybe we can do some smaller pictures here and also do some bigger pictures on the old-time piano that they have. Or we could put someone in charge of moving the pictures. Once the wedding's over. It is going to be, I mean, I'm not planning on taping the wedding, but it is going to be quite awesome and unusual. Super excited about it. So it's definitely, you know, not a church wedding. I had a church wedding. I think anybody of a certain age almost, unless you were a super duper hippie. You might have gotten married in a field somewhere, which would have been awesome. But yeah, nothing traditional coming up about this wedding, which is so much fun. My one daughter is very traditional. She's doing a lot with the wedding stuff, and I think she's I think she's struggling a little bit, which, you know what, it is so good for us to get out of our comfort zone sometimes. And in my experiences, who better to get out of your comfort zone? Okay. All right. Okay. So the front and the back of the top of the chair, basically, we got to patch some in, but it was one sheet. One package of this. All right. I think I'll just go ahead and do the big areas, and then fill in all the small ones. We'll just kind of push this down. And you know what? We can definitely take and staple this underneath. We won't see it. I think I'll go ahead and do the middle of the chair. Okay guys, I don't think we even have to staple, or I don't think we have to glue the seat, because we can just staple this right down here to the wood. I'm going to pull it pretty tight. And you wouldn't have to be pulling it this tight, except I, pulled all the upholstery off thinking I was going to do a live plants in it. But I rethought it, because this way I can get it done ahead of time, and I don't have to worry about it dying on me. Or the thing I was worried about is how I'm going to do it, take all that foam out and stuff, otherwise it would be all mildewy and yucky. Okay, let's cut this off real quick. Okay. Okay. So this is the back side that I just pulled through. Give it a nice tug. Let's look at the seat. Looks a little bunchy there. Okay. I'm just going to pull this. Let me go around to the other side. And go ahead and staple it down, because this is wood. So I think that's a pretty good effort to get it good and solid here. Definitely, if you're going to do anything where you need to do something pretty hardy down, get it stuck down, a little staple gun come in real handy. Okay, let's look and see what you think. You know what, let me go ahead and put a few more down here since I'm at it. Won't hurt. I wish I wouldn't have torn the chair up. It would have been a lot neater, but I did, so, you know, what are you going to do? Okay, so now we got to start filling in all these little areas. If we wanted to, this is the only place that's got these little tacks. I don't know if we could get them out or not. I might not mess with it. But it'd be cute if you did. I've actually got some big tacks that I had in something else. We might do something with them. Let's see. Well, let's just go ahead and start. And like I said, this moss is really forgiving. So that's nice. So we'll just kind of put her on here and see if this will work. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's going to work for this side. Okay. Let me cut a strip here. And then we'll just kind of have to cut it to size. Kind of work with what we've got here. See how I did there for the arm? And then it'll just go over. We can probably tuck that somewhat. Yeah, I think that'll go tucked in there. All right, I'm just going to put some glue down and get her going. I'll put, oh, this glue gun. Ugh. I'll put some glue on the moss that we're going to edge the other moss up over. Okay. And we'll get that stuck down nicely. Because we don't want that going anywhere. Not that I expect anybody to sit in the seat, but, you know. Still, we want it nice and secure. This is really going to be pretty. All I have seen, I haven't seen any videos or anything on this. I have seen just some Pinterest boards that had moss chairs. And like I said, I did see a couple that were like live. They were gorgeous. So of course I'm like, ooh, I want to make that. But then realistically, I'm not sure that would be the best. I'm going to let this glue get good and strong here before I start tugging on this to glue it to the underneath, okay? So I'm just going to kind of put this down and let that glue dry in before we start pulling on this part. I think it'll make our lives easier. Okay, so let's leave that. All right, I'm gonna have to go grab another one of these. Well, interesting, guys. So yeah, if this newer seems to be a new and improved. I'll go ahead and do it a little long so we can staple it on the bottom. So I can get these poor old scissors to cut. We're more like ripping at this point. Gosh, what a mess. What a sticky mess. Nice, but... Okay guys, I still got these two tops and I just put plenty up here to kind of fold over. I think what I'm going to do is just, I could kind of round the corners and then maybe cut a couple of slits in the, see what I'm doing? So I rounded the corners and cut a couple of slits so we can just go in and stick her down. Good thing these were old cruddy scissors, because they definitely take a beating here. All this glue on them. And I can cut some of this off too if I feel like it's too much. Okay, I think now, all but for the gluing down, I think we can staple these two sides down and see what we've got, and then just use our other moss to embellish. And cover up any spots, you know, that we feel like are obvious. But that's easy to do. Like I said, I've done it on those books and things, and you really can't tell. It's really a very forgiving medium to work with, and a lot of fun, and it's so stinking cute. Okay, I'm going to put this down on its side. Stapling happy here. Not like I'm planning on taking this off, but, you know. Okay. Alright. We can trim this up. We got the front done. We got this side done. We have one more side, and then we'll take a look at it. And this is just the base. spot that doesn't, here's a spot I missed. You can still see chair. And here's a spot that's on the wood a little too much, but like I said, we're just getting our base down. And as I say, if you've watched any of my videos, we literally are just playing. Playing, but making something that we're going to use. And you know, something like this, guys, I really forget because I pretty much make everything. I forget how much things are. Every once in a while I'll see like something pre-made and you know how much it is, and I'm always just like, what in the world? But yeah, doing it yourself, you save so much money. I don't know how much this chair was. Probably like 20 bucks, maybe. And honestly, you can find these kinds of things roadside, you know, trash day. So you could get the chair for free. The moss is going to end up costing us $45 because we used 3 things of it. Right here's a spot I didn't get. But it just so happens we have a piece left. And here's some little spots where, you know, they're going to be little spots around the seams and things. Just get in there with your glue, and then all over the ground I have got bits and pieces from where it fell off, and we can just fill in with those too. Okay guys, so I got it all covered, and I found these old tacks from an old chair I had. I pulled them off of. So those are going around both sides, and some of them I had to glue in. See, so they're on all three of the sides. Okay, so we've got that now. I've just been picking up stuff along the way. Here, let me put this up just a dab. Okay. So I'm thinking, like I said, we'll probably do the photos on the old piano. This would be nice to have outside at the ceremony, and it's lightweight. You can just carry it inside. So I just gathered some junk. Okay. First of all, back in the springtime, I picked up this one and another one. I think technically they're for your pet. They were in like the springtime stuff at Hobby Lobby. You could probably find them different places. But this one says Forever Remembered, Forever Missed with a butterfly. That's nice. Kind of like, you know, mimicking a stone. So I've got that. I thought that would be nice. And then I've got this old dough bowl that had a candle in it. Oh, yep, still has a price tag on it, $2.49 from the thrift store. And I thought we could use that. I just had some little rocks, and I thought we could prop that heart up in here and maybe surround it by moss. Let's try that and see what we think. And then we can just sit that on the seat and then kind of work around it. Probably most of the rocks we can kind of put to the back. I like it tilted a little on its side, but not totally, because the saying is up and down. What kind of moss do we want to use? Let's try this green. I've also got, well, I've also got this Spanish moss, and we can kind of mix and match it too. Might give it a little bit of a variation. No, I think with the gray, I almost like the green better. Let's try the green. And we can just kind of prop it up in here. It won't be going anywhere. It'll just be setting there, you know what I mean? Yeah, see, I feel like I need it up a little bit. And I've got all kinds of this moss. We mowed the other day. It's got a little bit of grass in it. We mowed the other day while I was laying it out here to dry. So it's got a little bit of grass in it, but hey, all the more natural, right? That's nice. Just kind of stuff it down in there. Okay. So that would be nice. I just found a little what did I do with it? Here it is. I found a little votive holder. These are just little tea lights, but I've got votives. This is just what I grabbed for our keeping the light on. And I can grab a nice votive for it and sit down in there. But anyway, so we got that. So I feel like that will be our focal point there. And then I have got, let me show you the stuff I've got. I got a bunch of these the other day at Walmart. I'm not sure how much, a couple bucks. Okay, so they're pretty realistic. I mean, obviously they're not, but they are pretty realistic. So we've got the fern. If we want to just keep it green, we've got fern, and then this, I went ahead and cut it apart, but this was a bush from Walmart also. So if we want to pop some ferns back here, I think we can probably just stick them in the crease of the chair. And that's going to stay nicely right there. Okay. If we want a little height on it, we could put a second one behind it. If we want a little height. I'll just leave those in there for now. Little bits and pieces of Spanish moss. Here's a third one. And then what I was thinking, we could maybe do more like a side. Stick it in on its side. Just to give some nice filler. We might want our candle to go up a little bit. Well, we're just going to work with what we've got. Okay, so honestly, that's pretty. But we've got this bush that I cut up. I feel like we need to have a little something coming out to fill it out, and maybe a few in the back. So let's try that. I'm just going to take a sprig and just pop a few in. This is nice, see, because it's got like a variety. Looks pretty wildish to me. I'm not sticking them in anything. I'm just basically laying them on here. I'll stick one kind of coming out. That's pretty. And we want kind of what I'm going for is kind of a wild look. Let's do maybe something down here. And see, this has got a little bit of fern with it. So I don't feel like we have to do more fern. Let's stick a few pieces in here. We've got them. Kind of coming out, making like a bed. I've got some little wood browns too. That would help a little. It might just give us a little bit of height we need. I don't have them right here with me, but you know. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3 more pieces of this. Let's go ahead and stick another one popping out there. You know, just kind of wherever they fall. Maybe one right in the middle. Give it a little bit of height. Okay, now, I had gotten these. I got a bunch of these. I think they were, let's see. Now remember, we're accenting with sunflowers and some purple flowers. This, 99 cents. These were at Hobby Lobby, back in the succulents. So if we wanted to accent with some purple, we could. I know Alex's grandmother, which he was very, very close to, her favorite color was purple. If we didn't want to just make it all green, we could do some purple accents. Let's just stick a few in and see what we think. It's a nice color, and it's kind of a dusty, so it's not like a bright fakey look. And you know, it's got the nice green with it. Yeah, these were just 99 cents. Kind of frame this little arrangement in. I mean, I could go either way, guys. I could go either way. Would we want to stick one in the back then? Do we feel like we'd have to do something back here to kind of tie it in? I've told you guys before, I'm not I don't know, what do you guys think? I'm not, I like it down here, I don't like it up there. Let's pull it out, you know, just mess and mess. Oh, I've got a few succulents. Some I pulled out of some plants I had. Maybe just do, because we are going to do some succulents on the table, and then I've got to show you guys. I'm going to glue this one back together. It's coming apart. Stick some glue on it. Or we'll just kind of stick it in there. A little succulent here and there makes everything better, right? Here's some that are like the, what do they call them, pearls, or like I said, it just, I don't know, those look kind of fakey. Maybe if I stuck them more in the back. There we go. We'll just stick these more in the back, coming out the, just so you can see a little bit of them. Oh, this is really pretty. And then look at these, you guys. I was in Walmart yesterday. I got those ferns. I got some more moss that we covered this with. Right here, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's where I guess I folded it or had to put some pieces together. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Which I have to tell myself. But look at these. They were on clearance at the Walmart I went to, and so I bought all that they had. They were $5, but these go a long way, and I thought we are going to do some succulents. We're going to give succulents as gifts, which I haven't gotten with you guys yet, but some of these are a good little size. I don't know, we might want to pop, that one's kind of, but there's, some of them are so tiny, they're adorable though. We might just want to pop a few, you know, here and there. Just to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. I mean, it really, really is pretty. Alright, I'm going to leave well enough alone. I don't know if I like this blue-green. Let's just do the green. Let's keep it in. This one's kind of a blue-green too. Let's keep it in a pulling these bigger ones back here underneath. All right, well, it's broad daylight and practically 100 degrees, but let's light our candle. I am happy with this. You know, you just really never know where you're going. Like I said, I tore it up and thought, oh, we'll do a live one. And then I just kind of thought better of that. Just for time's sake and, you know, having it done ahead of time. I'm going to go find some of those wood pieces and lift this up a little bit. But you get the point. I've been at this for a while. Okay, well, minus all the junk around it. I think I'm going to leave out the purple. Okay, which I like, but not as much as I don't like. And I just like the green. That's really nice. Not the blue green, just the green. And then we could, you know, if we felt stressed about our little areas, whereas we could just kind of put some clumps of moss here and there, you know, like it's just kind of sitting on there. I'm not gluing it right now. I can. I'm just seeing because I've got different colors. Nah, I don't like the Spanish. I mean, really, there's a lot you could do with it. Here's this, it's actually in sheets right from the dirt. So we've got lots of options, you know, we could make some clumps and do that kind of thing if we wanted to. I'm going to look at it, or I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe do a little bit of this. Just because that, oh gosh, my glue guns are sticking to my glue sticks are sticking to my glue gun. Just because that seam there's bugging me. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of leave something and then walk back to it. And then you kind of get a fresh perspective. Yep, I like that. Just try not to burn myself here, which I already have today. I took my poor old scissors that I've... they were already poor old scissors. Yeah, but we can just do a little bit of this. You know, mess a little bit of this around. Here's some spots where I pulled the moss and kind of pulled it off of its backing. Any place that you see that, you know, you feel needs a bit, throw her on there. There is definitely no right or wrong. It's like you're in the woods. Oh yeah, I'll put some on the back too, because that looks nice, just kind of hanging down there. And see here, this is just kind of hanging down where I didn't cut it off. I'm just going to leave that. We could even put a little over here on this side of this. But that is the gist of it. I am so glad to get this done, you guys. Let me see if I can bring this camera around a little bit and focus in from the front. And anybody can do this. I'm saying this is so pretty. And it is, but I mean, anybody can do this. I think the chair was around 20. So we might have, what I say, the moss was the thing. You could probably do it cheaper if you just used loose moss and glued it all on there. So 45, it could have cost us, $60, but with everything. But I think this is a really nice addition. If you didn't want to use fake, you could stick some fresh ones in there. And I did in a couple of videos ago. I told you guys I was going to get some little picks, you know, that you just put like a single fresh stem in. I got them in the mail. We could just, if we wanted, stick some fresh flowers down in there in those little water picks, and they would stay fresh for the wedding. So there's that thought, but I really like just the green. I will send a picture of this to the bride and groom and see what they think, okay? Anyway, thanks for joining me today. It's a Modern Day Nana. Like and subscribe. We're going to be doing basically this for a couple months because, let me see, we got maybe 2.5 months before the wedding. So, all right. I think this turned out nice, and it'll be a good remembrance for those loved ones that we really, really wish could be with us on such a wonderful day. Okay, guys, I will see you soon. It's a Modern Day Nana. Bye.